So today we're going to talk about drawing covalent bonds. Your topic is covalent drawing. Goal. I can draw covalent compounds putting electrons where they should be located. Before we can draw covalent bonds, we need to do a little bit of review of valence electrons. So valence electrons, as we know from last unit, are the electrons in the outermost energy level. And the way you look at that is by looking at the location on the periodic table. If it's in that first column, like your hydrogens, lithiums, and sodiums, it's going to have one valence electron. If it's in the second column, or beryllium, magnesium, calcium, all those, they'll have two. Now we'll skip the transition metals, and then you go to the other column with boron, aluminum, and gallium. It would have three. The column with carbon has four. The column with nitrogen has five. Oxygen has six. Fluorine has 7, and then the noble gases have 8. So that's how you find how many valence electrons an element has. So for Lewis structure, it's very similar to how we drew the Lewis structure for a single element, but there is some differences. One is you are now going to be drawing lone pairs and bonds. So you'll never just have a dot standing by itself. You'll have at least two on one side, or you'll have a line that represents a bond. So dots are used for non-bonding electrons, and lines are used for bonding pairs of electrons. All atoms must have 8 electrons in some combination around it in order to be happy, except for hydrogen, which only needs 2. So steps in building Lewis structure, I'm going to go over the steps, and I'll let you all make sure you type out the different steps, and then I'm going to do some examples on the board to show you how you draw the covalent bonds. So step 1, you decide on the central atom. Most of the time I will tell you what the central atom is, but the science behind it is it's always the least electronegative atom, or the one farthest away from fluorine. Step 2, add up the number of valence electrons that can be used. So you find the number of valence electrons each element has that's in that bond and add that number up, and that tells you how many electrons you have to use to make your bonds. Step 3, form a single bond between the central atom and each surrounding atom. Each bond takes 2 electrons. 4, the remaining electrons form lone pairs to complete the octet as needed, or duet in case of hydrogen because it only needs 2. Step 5, check to make sure there are 8 electrons around each atom except for hydrogen, which only has 2. And then step 6, move non-bonding pairs if necessary to make double or triple bonds to ensure the octet rule. All right, so I'm going to put some examples of covalent drawing. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how to draw covalent bonds. So here we have an example, H2O. I underline oxygen because I will give you what the center atom is going to be. So since oxygen is underlined, it's going to be the element in the center, and the hydrogens will be on either side. So now that we have this drawn, we need to figure out how many valence electrons we have. We have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. So we find hydrogen. Hydrogen has, well, so if we look at the periodic table, if it's in that first column, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. That tells you how many valence electrons there are, just as a review. So hydrogen's in that first column, so there's 1, and there's 2 of them. So we'll do 1 plus 1, and then plus your oxygen, which is 6. So 1 plus 1 plus 6 is 8 electrons. That's how many we have to deal with. So the first thing we're going to do is draw a bond in between the center atom and the others. We know that one line is 2 electrons. So right now we have 4 electrons drawn. 2, 4. But we need 8. So I'm going to draw dots around the oxygen in order to get those 8. Now, I didn't do it around the hydrogen because hydrogens only need 2 to be happy, and those lines are already there, so they already have 2. So that hydrogen on the left has 2, The hydrogen on the right has 2. The oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. And everything besides hydrogen needs 8 to be happy. So that's what H2O looks like. So let's do another example, CO2. C is the element going to be in the middle, O's on either side. We figure out how many valence electrons they have. There's one carbon, which has 4 valence electrons. And then there's 2 oxygens, so we'll need to count that twice. So 6 plus 6. 4 plus 6 plus 6 is 16 electrons. Okay, we draw our line, which we know a line is 2 electrons, and then we start drawing these dots till we get to 16. I just start on one end, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then, of course, we know 11, 12. And then those lines are 2, so 13, 14, 15, 16. So right now we have 16 electrons drawn. Now we got to see if they're happy. That oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. So that carbon has 2, 4, 6, 8. That oxygen only has 4. So it is not happy. We're going to have to move these electrons around in order for them to be happy. So if I take those 2 dots from carbon and make that a double bond, now that carbon still has 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. But that oxygen has 2, 4, 6. So it's still not completely happy, but we're getting close. So if we take those 2 dots and make a triple bond, now let's see if it's happy. That oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. That carbon has 2, 4, 6, 8. And that oxygen has 2, 4, 6, 8. So they are all happy. So that could be the compound. But I want to show you guys something. So if we do this again, we have 2, 4 electrons, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. This time I just kind of put on random. Now we got to see if they're happy. That first oxygen is 2, 4, 6. It's not happy. That oxygen has 2, 4, 6. So it's not happy either. Now the carbon is, there's 8. So if I take those 2 electrons, draw a double bond. Those 2 electrons, draw a double bond on the other side. Now everything has 8 and it's all happy. But you might be thinking, well, the one up top has 8 on all of them. It's happy, but they look different. Well, that goes to show you there could be more than one correct answer for a compound. They can be found in both ways naturally. So there is a way for you to get more than one correct answer as long as that number, the number of electrons you have drawn, matches the number up top, then you will be good. If you need more examples on how to do this or help with anything, or if you're still not sure how to draw covalent bonds, let me know. I'll be happy to show you more examples or try to help you out in other ways if possible. And just let me know, and I hope you have a great day. For your digital notebook on drawing covalent bonds, here are 4 examples that you'll need to do. The easiest way to do this is to insert text box and make a text box for each individual element. So I would put H, and then I would do a second text box, make a second H. That way you can move it around the center and make your dot. In order to make your dots, you go to Insert, Shape, and then Circle right there. And then for your lines, you can use the line tool right there to draw your bonds. If you would rather, you can always draw this on a piece of paper and upload the image by going Insert, Image, and then you can upload it from your computer. If you email it to yourself, or if you do it from your phone, you can upload it from your phone or your Google Drive, whichever is easier for you.